There's one reason the karate kicks don't get S tier. Yo.
Perfect.
Ranking kicks. Tier list. Hey, what's up? Today we're gonna be ranking different styles of martial arts kicks. And when I say different styles, like how different styles kick. Like we've got here, we'll just jump right into it. Tang Soo Do, Savate, Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Krav Maga, Sanda, Kung Fu, Karate, Kalaripayyatu, Silat, we've got capoeira, and we've got Taekwondo. Okay, listen here. Pretty much this list is only to finally give something Taekwondo that they can like rank a little bit higher in. You know what I mean? That's it. That's what this is all about. There are going to be plenty of styles where you're like, what about this one? Fair, granted. Most of them kick just like one of these styles here. There's only so many different ways you can throw a kick. Now, each martial art has its purpose, and they all have their own identity, and each of them are unique and special in their own way. Until they get on the Sensei Seth tier list board. But that's enough of the tomfoolery. You guys know how this works. Ranking from S to F, E doesn't count. So we're going to start off with probably one of my most requested martial arts styles to take a look at, and that's Tang Soo Do, aka Korean karate, aka that's Chuk Soo Won. Tang Soo Do's an interesting one because frankly looks like it's throwing kicks for show. It's supposed to be karate, or at least some style of karate, but it's not really because all of the terminology is in Korean, and it's got the Korean flag in the background, and all they do is do kicks, which makes me think it's a little bit more of safe, you know, a little safe space karate. I think as far as the kicks go, I mean, they're not bad kicks. Pretty showy kicks, a lot of head kicks. You know, head kicks don't have to be as strong as leg kicks, for example. I would say that Tang Soo Do gets we're going to start off with a B tier. Very, like, mid-level, you know? Which brings us to our next one, which is Savate. Savate is French kickboxing. Kickboxing with boots on, essentially. A lot of like the toe kicks, which are also found in karate. Some side kicks in there. They do throw some like higher head kicks. Also a lot of like strikes down to the knee. I think Savate's an interesting one. From what I understand, it's a style that is like based primarily on kicks, you know, which a lot of these are. A lot of these styles are. I wasn't super impressed by Savate's kicks. They were good. Good side kicks, good range management, good power. They spar with it. They wear shoes, which is like good for self-defense. Good getting used to kicking without your grippers on the floor. Your grippers being your toes, of course. I would say that Savate might actually get A tier. No, that's kind of generous. Savate just looks like every other kickboxing style. Well, sure enough then, we'll give Savate a B. Okay, so this next topic could easily be my most controversial opinion. Easily it could be. Jeet Kune Do. Now, they don't technically have a style, but they do at this point. They do have a style. And all I'm going to talk about is the one thing that really upsets me. Like the Bruce Lee sidekick, I don't like it. Like the jumping pendulum step especially, I don't like it. It's for movies. People think that that's a super strong attack. It can be, but it should be better. And can be, but should be better is going to land them at a B tier.
That's a little bit of off balance, but
now, with that being said, Jeet Kune Do is a good philosophy. Anytime people usually train kicks only for self-defense, I think it limits them a little bit when you're like, oh, I'm only going to learn kicks for self-defense. I think it takes away some of the aspects and variables that make you grow with your balance, with your strength, with your capabilities. Now, with that being said, I don't think that means you should throw spinning head kicks in a street fight, but it's possible. And the better you are at doing more complex things, I think the better you are at doing the super easy things on average. Like they just become easier. Now we're going to talk about Muay Thai. Muay Thai. Oh man. You ever kick down a banana tree, young man? You ever kick down a woman? Have you ever kicked someone's leg in half or let someone kick you in the leg? They have a kick that literally, the name of the word means stab. I mean, Muay Thai is brutal. The kicks are amazing. There aren't a lot of variability. If they had a little more variability, I think Muay Thai, and it might get bumped up, but Muay Thai is going to be an A tier. And here's why. Teep, roundhouse kick. In my opinion, because of their stance, they're limited to those two kicks, which takes away some of the variability that I love about kicking. Like, there's so many different things you could do. Now, they could throw axe kicks and stuff like that too from this squared stance. And then they've got crescents, which I don't think they call crescents, they call roundhouse kicks, but they're like inside crescent kicks. Muay Thai is going to be A tier. Which brings us to Krav Maga. OKG. Krav Maga is an interesting one. Krav Maga has like the mentality of only kick when you have to kick. A lot of their kicks are like takedown based or like kicking up based. Like they're trying to kick the back of the leg, kick the side of the leg, and holding onto you to bring you down. I don't hate that concept. Again, lack of variability. The kicks are pretty like singularly focused, you know? I just don't know if I can get behind that. I don't know if I can get behind that. I'm gonna go Krav Maga kicks are C tier. And to be fair, not all these styles need kicks, you know. A lot of them, like in this scenario, have things that they can hit you with, you know. So Krav Maga, I'm pretty safe to say C tier. Now we're gonna talk about Sanda or Sanshu, okay? The Kung Fu style that isn't the Kung Fu style. I have Kung Fu on this list, but I wanted to have this one separate. You know what I mean? A little separate. Sanda's got some great kicks. If you type in Sanda like competition, phenomenal to watch. Super fun to watch. Lots of side kicks, takedowns, the risk of getting caught and then dumped. So one of the reasons that Muay Thai kicks are so good is because they're so pressure tested. They're so used to getting caught. They're so used to getting swept, getting taken down. All of the biggest risks that comes from kicks, they put them into play. And they're like, hey, you got to deal with this, which I love. So with that being said, Sanda, lots of side kicks, love the stance, lots of roundhouse kicks, inside crescent kicks, all that fun stuff, spinning attack, and the risk of getting taken down. I think they kick hard. S for Sanda, baby. I actually put a Kung Fu style on an S tier. Huh. Interesting. Should I start over? No, it's okay. It's okay. We can move forwards. All right, with that being said, now we're going to talk about Kung Fu. Different, more varied. Everybody knows this. Somebody's going to comment. It's inevitable. Seth, you can't put Kung Fu into one category. Technically, I put it into two. So Kung Fu, lots of side kicks, higher kicks. I think, honestly, I don't love the purpose of most Kung Fu kicks that I've seen. I don't know much to say other than that. A lot of inside crescent kicks, a lot of like snapping kicks, where the top part of the leg opens and then it extends at the very end rather than like a pushing motion. With that knowledge and that information, you don't see a lot of like back leg roundhouse kicks. Now, I'm sure your Kung Fu style does the right kicks and they would be S tier. Now, everybody was Kung Fu fighting, but was it good? We're going to go Kung Fu at C tier. Blasphemy? Maybe. Maybe. But maybe not. Oh, who's that handsome young man? Oh, it's karate time, baby. It's time to decide if karate kicks are the way to go and your style of kickery. Now, we've done a lot of different videos on this channel about kicking. I'm a karate channel. There's one reason that karate kicks don't get S tier. I'm going to put them in A tier right now. And there's one reason that karate kicks don't get S tier. Yoko, Geri, Chagi. Snapping side kick. Snapping side kick is the bane of my existence, in case you didn't already know this before. It's when you throw a side kick and your knee comes up and your foot goes underneath and then you extend it and push it. In my opinion, a big waste of movement. A good way to get stuffed. a good way to get blocked, a good way to somewhat sort of telegraph. It's actually not terrible when it comes to like trying to disguise something. But when your purpose is to throw a sidekick, I think there's a much better way to do it. I think there's a much better way to hide it. Sidekick is something doesn't work, but this one especially doesn't work. I think the pushing sidekick and the fact that all of the katas you see in karate are snapping sidekicks, that just tweaks, that just makes me a little bit mad. Okay, I'm good. Ooh, that was a close one. Okay, karate kicks, great. Roundhouse kick, axe kick. You look at Kyokushin with its leg conditioning. Inside crescent, outside crescent, front kick, front snap kick to the face. We do spinning wheels and like other stuff too because we're American and we just like to make stuff look cool. Karate A tier, and I don't feel bad about that. Fix the snapping sidekicks. I've changed all the snapping sidekicks in our katas to pushing sidekicks. You should think about it. Kalaripayyatu. I've done a video on Kalaripayyatu. I've had Kalaripayyatu in a ranking tier list of overall martial arts style. It's a very interesting style. It's a much older style, and it's kind of gone through some pushes and some shoves by politicality to make it sort of you're not supposed to use it, for a lack of a better word. They were supposed to practice it in secret, so they kind of hid it, and I think a lot of people are working towards making it better, just like a lot of these other traditional styles, like karate, for example, is a great example, actually. They have great flexibility, great mobility. I think they're very athletic overall. Some of their hand positioning is weird for the kicks itself. I'm actually going to give Kalaripayyatu B tier. Now, what's interesting is that if I put something on this list, its kicks are probably not bad, right? Actually, you know what? I might have to move Kalaripayyatu's kicks down to C tier, simply because we talked about the lack of variability with Muay Thai. I think Kalaripayyatu has the same lack of variability. A lot of inside crescent kicks, outside crescent kicks, front kicks, but other than that, all of their stuff is very linear. They're moving forwards, they're never really moving sideways, or even turning and kicking as much. From what you see, you'll see like a lot of the open. Now, they do have the interpretive movements. I'm gonna stick with C tier. I think C tier is fair. Now we move on to Silat. There's something about Silat that just really grinds my gears. I don't know what it is. I think it's just too, you know, it just, A lot of people think that kicking to the legs is way safer than kicking to the body and the head. Head, yes. But the body, what's interesting, while with kicking to the body you have a better chance of getting caught, kicking to the legs gives you an opportunity to get smoked up top. And a lot of people don't hold their hands right when they're kicking to the legs. I think Silat's one of those styles. I think Silat does a lot of like parrying of the legs. So like they'll parry the kicking leg and then kick the base leg. A little theoretical in my opinion. You could talk about penchaks a lot, which is a little bit different. It's like the sport style of it and not the martial arts style of it, in my opinion. It's a lot like sport karate to traditional karate, but they're both karate, you know. I think penchak Silat and like the traditional style of Silat look very, very different. Penchak Silat has great kicks. Like their sport stuff is awesome. Phenomenal kicks. The traditional style where they're like sweeping a leg and then kicking the base leg, I think it's a little theoretical. It's a little theoretical in my opinion. I want to give it F tier just because of I want to.
Degrees. You're going to look over your shoulder here.
When you put too much weight behind something that isn't pressure tested, it kind of creates some problems and some holes. We're going to give it D tier simply because I think penchak saves it a little bit. Oh, capoeira. Capoeira is cool. I enjoy watching capoeira. I don't know anyone who's like, ugh, that sucks. I hate that. I hate watching that. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to learn some capoeira. Capoeira is a very cool style to watch. The kicking is very circular. You know, that makes sense, right? They have their flow. I don't know. I can't do it. But their flow is very back and forth. Not a lot of basing, pushing. You know, with kicks, you need to have not only kicks that come around from the outside, but also kicks that come down the pipe. You don't see that as much. Everything's either a front kick or a roundhouse kick. A lot of really cool techniques, a lot of great balance, a lot of obvious leg strength, a lot of obvious core strength too. We're going to go capoeira at B tier. when it comes to kicks. Phenomenal, exciting, really good kicks, but missing what it takes to become the Muay Thai or the Sanda especially. Now, what you guys have all been waiting for, Taekwondo or Taekwondo or Taekwondo, safe space karate. All of those things are out of the window for this video because it is a kicking-based video. Taekwondo is a kicking-based style. So what does that mean? We get an opportunity to put Taekwondo F tier. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tier list. I feel like I got this all right. I feel like all of this is exactly where it should be, and I don't regret any of it. If you have any of these that you disagree with, make sure you let me know in the comments section below. Let me know what else you want me to rank in the future. If you hate me, I'm sorry. I think that we can become friends again, you know, maybe through a process of like therapy or some sort of like productive group training, you know, maybe through our hatred of one specific person that kind of brings us together. Maybe it's some conflict that we need to get through, you and I, and it eventually becomes the one thing that brings us together. Maybe. Or maybe you do Taekwondo. But thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on the notifications. And I will see you next time. Peace!